In the great halls of the Galactic Council, silence was rare. Hundreds of species spoke at once, argued, traded, and planned wars. But today the hall was quiet. A single word had caused that silence. The name appeared on the central hollow screen, glowing red. Around it were warning symbols, danger marks, and old battle reports. Many species shifted uneasily. Some lowered their heads. Others tightened their claws. Earth was not the largest planet. It was not rich in rare minerals. It did not have the strongest weapons. Yet the galaxy feared it more than any other world. The council speaker, an old being covered in silver scales, slowly spoke. Earth is classified as a high-risk death world, he said. Extreme climate changes, violent weather, aggressive life forms. The screen changed. Images appeared, storms, oceans, forests, deserts. Then came creatures, sharp teeth, powerful claws, fast hunters. These are Earth's apex predators, another council member added. Creatures that kill not for survival alone, but for dominance. A young alien cadet watched from the upper gallery. His species had never seen a death world before. His heart raced as the images continued. One report showed a massive creature chasing prey for hours. Another showed pack hunters working together with deadly skill. Earth life does not stop, a scientist said. It adapts. It evolves. It survives. The cadet swallowed. If these were the predators, what chance did anyone have? The council had studied many dangerous worlds. But Earth was different. Other death worlds were harsh in one way. Too hot. Too cold. Too toxic. Earth was harsh in every way. Its gravity crushed the weak. Its oceans drowned the careless. Its land burned, froze, or shook without warning. And still, life thrived. That was the true reason for fear. A military commander stood next. His armor was old, marked by scars. We sent drones, he said. They failed. The screen showed broken machines. Some crushed. Some burned. Some torn apart. We sent beasts bred for combat, the commander continued. They did not return. A low sound spread through the hall. Fear. Respect. Confusion. If even predators die there, one voice asked. What rules that planet? The scientist answered softly. We do not know. That answer terrified them more than any monster. For cycles, the galaxy avoided Earth. Trade routes were redirected. Explorers marked it forbidden. Earth became a warning told to young cadets. Do not land there. Do not provoke it. Do not look too closely. The cadet remembered those lessons well. Earth was spoken of like a living weapon. A planet that tested everything and spared nothing. Then the screen changed again. A new file opened. Apex Predator, unconfirmed. Murmurs filled the hall. How can it be unconfirmed? Someone demanded. Every world has one. The scientist hesitated. That is the problem, she said. Earth has many. Gasps followed. Predators in the air. Predators in the sea. Predators on land. But the data did not end there. The images shifted again. Cities appeared. Lights. Roads. Massive structures. The cadet leaned forward. Those are shelters? He asked his instructor. No, the instructor replied quietly. Those are habitats. The council grew uneasy. A new symbol flashed on the screen. Species human. The name meant little to most of them. Just another intelligent race, they thought. Then the reports began. Humans surviving in frozen zones. Humans working in burning heat. Humans diving into oceans. Humans climbing impossible heights. No natural weapons, a council member said. No claws. No fangs. Yet, the scientist added, they dominate every environment. The cadet's fear deepened. How? He whispered. No one answered right away. The commander finally spoke. They adapt faster than anything we've seen. They learn. They cooperate. And when threatened, they do not retreat. The hall was silent again. Earth was feared because of its predators. Because of its storms. Because of its chaos. But slowly, a darker thought formed in every mind. What if Earth's greatest predator was not one of its beasts? The file zoomed in. A human figure appeared. Small. Upright. Unarmed. The speaker's final words echoed through the hall. The galaxy feared Earth's apex predator. Pause. Until we realized. It was human. The transport ship moved slowly as it entered Earth's orbit. From space the planet looked calm, almost beautiful. Blue oceans covered most of its surface. White clouds moved like soft waves and green land stretched wide. To the alien observers inside the ship, that beauty felt like a lie. Their instruments screamed warnings. Gravity readings were high. Atmospheric pressure was unstable. Weather systems formed and vanished without pattern. Earth did not welcome visitors. Commander Rethka stood near the viewing glass. His many eyes focused on the planet below. He had studied death worlds his entire life, yet something about Earth made his instincts burn with caution. This world did not feel wild. It felt alert, as if it was watching them return its gaze. The mission was simple on paper. Observe the humans. Confirm the identity of Earth's apex predator. Do not interfere. Do not land unless necessary. The Galactic Council had made one thing clear. This was not a show of power. This was a test of understanding. An understanding they feared might come at a cost. As the ship descended, turbulence shook the hull. The atmosphere was thick, heavy, and full of movement. Winds slammed into the craft from different directions, changing without warning. The pilots fought to keep control. No other planet behaved like this. Earth resisted. They finally broke through the clouds. Below them lay a wide landmass covered in green and brown. Rivers cut through the ground like scars. Mountains rose sharply, their peaks hidden under snow. The sensors picked up life everywhere. Not just in small pockets. Everywhere. The landing zone was chosen near a human settlement. The Council wanted close observation. They wanted to see how humans lived, how they reacted, how they survived on a world that should have broken them long ago. The ship touched the ground with a heavy thud. The aliens waited, weapons ready, nerves tight. Nothing happened. No attack. No roar. No hidden predator leaping from the trees. The hatch opened slowly. Warm air rushed inside. It carried strange smells. Earth smelled alive. Wet soil. Plants. Heat. The aliens stepped out carefully, scanning every movement. The gravity pressed down on them at once. Some stumbled. Others struggled to stand straight. This world demanded strength with every breath. Then they saw the humans. They were walking calmly across the land. Some carried tools. Others spoke to each other, their voices relaxed. There was no sign of fear. No sign of caution. Children ran across the ground, laughing, completely unaware of the danger around them. The aliens could not understand it. How could prey act like this on such a deadly world? One human noticed the landing party and waved. Not a threat. Not a challenge. A greeting. Commander Rethka felt something twist inside him. On death worlds, awareness meant survival. Yet these humans moved as if Earth belonged to them. As if nothing here could truly harm them. The observers followed the humans from a distance. They watched them drink water from rivers that sensors marked as dangerous. They watched them touch plants that held toxins. They watched them walk into heavy rain without panic. When the ground shook slightly beneath their feet, the humans barely reacted. A sudden loud sound echoed across the land. The alien team froze, weapons raised. Their sensors detected a large predator nearby. Powerful muscles. Sharp teeth. Fast movement. A true apex beast of Earth. The humans turned toward the sound. They did not run. One of them smiled. The creature emerged from the trees, massive and dangerous. The aliens prepared for blood. But the human simply lifted a hand and spoke in a calm voice. The beast stopped. His body relaxed. Then, to the alien's shock, it turned away. That predator obeyed him, one observer whispered. No, another replied softly. It recognized him. That thought was worse. As time passed, the aliens saw more. Humans worked together without orders. They shared food. They helped the weak. When one fell, others lifted them up. This world tried to kill them every day, yet they had built lives full of noise, color, and connection. Commander Rethka reviewed the data that night. Human injury rates were high. Human deaths happened often. Yet their population kept growing. They learned from every mistake. They remembered every loss. Earth did not select the strongest humans. It shaped them. The Council had feared Earth's beasts. They had feared its storms and quakes. But standing there, watching humans laugh under a dangerous sky, the commander understood the truth. Earth was not the weapon. Humans were. And they were only beginning to notice the galaxy watching them. The observation period continued for many cycles. The alien team stopped looking for claws and fangs. They stopped scanning only forests and oceans. Instead, they watched the humans themselves. Patterns began to appear. Humans did not survive because they were the strongest creatures on Earth. Many animals were faster. Many were stronger. Many were better hunters. Yet humans remained on top. The data made no sense at first. Humans had soft bodies. Their skin tore easily. They could be injured by simple falls. Their young were weak for many years. On any other death world, such a species would vanish quickly. But on Earth they ruled every land. Commander Rethka called for a full analysis. He ordered his team to stop comparing humans to animals. "That is your first mistake," he told them. "They do not play the same game." The team began again, this time watching human behavior instead of human bodies. That was when the truth slowly came into focus. Humans prepared. They planned for danger long before it arrived. They stored food. They built shelters. They studied patterns in weather, animals, and land. When one plan failed, they did not freeze. They changed it. Failure did not stop them. It taught them. The aliens watched a group of humans face a violent storm. Winds tore through the land. Rain fell like weapons. Trees bent and broke. Many species would have fled or hidden deep underground. Humans did not. They worked together. Some secured shelters. Some warned others. Some stood in danger to protect strangers. When the storm passed, they did not celebrate survival. They repaired damage. They improved structures. They prepared for the next storm, already learning from the last one. This behavior repeated everywhere. In frozen lands, humans wrapped themselves in layers and built heat. In burning deserts, they carried water and traveled together. In dangerous cities, they created rules and systems to control chaos. They did not wait for Earth to change. They changed themselves. The observers also noticed something else. Humans remembered. They passed knowledge across generations. Stories, lessons, warnings. A human child learned dangers before facing them. They inherited survival without needing to experience death themselves. No predator on Earth did this. The team reviewed combat records next. Humans avoided direct fights when possible. But when conflict was forced upon them, they became something else entirely. Calm, focused, silent. They did not rush. They did not waste energy. They ended threats with speed and precision. One observer compared humans to a pack hunter. Commander Rethka rejected that idea. Pack hunters rely on instinct, he said. Humans choose. That choice made them far more dangerous. The final test came unexpectedly. A large Earth predator attacked a human settlement at night. The aliens watched closely, expecting panic. Instead, humans reacted in seconds. Alarms sounded. Lights turned on. Groups formed. Some defended. Others evacuated the weak. No one acted alone. The predator was driven away without chaos. No cheering followed. No pride. Just silence, then repair. That moment changed everything. The alien scientists updated their models. Earth's apex predator was not any single beast. It was not strength, speed, or teeth. It was a system. A thinking force. A species that learned faster than the world could kill it. Humans were not born apex predators. Earth made them one. Commander Rethka sent his report to the Galactic Council. His message was short. Earth's apex predator is not defined by biology, he wrote. It is defined by adaptation, memory, and cooperation. Humans do not dominate by force alone. They dominate because they never stop learning. He paused before adding one final line. If they ever turn that focus outward, he warned, the galaxy will not be ready. As the message transmitted, the commander looked at the humans below. They lived normal lives. They laughed. They argued. They dreamed. They had no idea they had just been reclassified as the most dangerous species the galaxy had ever studied. Not because they hunted others, but because nothing could stop them from surviving. The next cycle brought the first real test. A violent storm, larger than anything the aliens had ever seen, formed over the region where the humans lived. The sensors on the observation ship went wild. Lightning struck in rapid succession. Winds tore through trees and buildings alike. Rivers rose, swallowing roads and bridges. To the alien team, this was proof that Earth was indeed a death world. No species should survive such chaos, they thought. The aliens expected panic, screams, and chaos. Instead, they watched humans moving calmly. Families helped each other through the mud. Children were guided, not abandoned. Leaders emerged naturally, giving clear orders. Tools and materials were used efficiently to stabilize homes and structures. Humans did not fight the storm. They worked with it, anticipating its movement, predicting its next blow. Every action was measured, every decision precise. Commander Rethka and his team took notes frantically. They had observed adaptation before, but this was different. These humans seemed to see the storm as a challenge, not a threat. Their bodies were pushed to exhaustion, yet they continued. Their minds worked faster than the environment could change. When one bridge collapsed, they quickly built another using debris. When a river threatened to flood homes, they diverted it with sandbags and logs, improvising structures that would survive another strike. The aliens' fear grew with every moment. No predator had ever faced such coordination. No natural disaster had been met with such calm determination. Even when lightning struck dangerously close, the humans did not freeze. They adjusted instantly, shouting warnings, protecting each other, moving with astonishing awareness. At one point, a human child slipped near the river's edge. In seconds, 2 adults were there to catch the child. No hesitation, no panic, just action. One alien cadet whispered, "How can they think so fast?" His instructor shook his head. "They do not just think," he said. "They understand. They anticipate. They survive before the storm even strikes." Hours passed. The storm did not weaken, yet the humans adapted. They repaired damages as quickly as they happened. They moved the injured to safety. They calmed the frightened. Every failure became a lesson in real time. By the time the storm finally passed, the settlement looked battered but not broken. Humans had not just survived, they had organized, learned, and improved. The aliens were stunned. "This is beyond anything we imagined," a scientist muttered. "They are not just surviving a death world, they are mastering it." The commander remained silent. He could not shake the image of the humans calmly working under conditions that should have killed many of them. Their courage was undeniable, but what scared him more was their effectiveness. Every action seemed pre-planned, yet no one gave orders. Every human knew what to do instinctively. One alien cadet, still shaking, asked, "Commander, if they can survive this, what chance would any species have if they chose to fight?" Commander Rethka's many eyes darkened. "Do not even think of it," he said. "Earth is not a battlefield. Humans are not soldiers. Yet anything threatening them will fail." Later, when the storm finally ended, the aliens approached the humans cautiously. They had intended to observe from a distance, but curiosity, and perhaps fear, pulled them closer. The humans did not notice the aliens at first. They cleaned, repaired, and tended to one another as if nothing unusual had happened. When they did see the visitors, they did not panic. They did not flee. They offered simple greetings, smiles, and assistance without hesitation. The aliens realized then that the danger was not in the storms or in the predators or even in the planet itself. The real apex predator was the human response. Their courage, intelligence, and cooperation created a force that no environmental threat, no predator, and no weapon could overcome easily. Commander Rethka recorded every observation in his data logs. "Earth is lethal," he wrote. "Not because it kills, but because humans conquer it through skill, courage, and unity. Their survival is not chance. It is will. It is choice. They do not merely live. They dominate every challenge with thought and action." As night fell, the humans gathered near a fire, sharing food, speaking, and laughing softly. The aliens watched silently. They had expected fear, weakness, chaos, and perhaps death. Instead, they saw life, vivid, strong, and purposeful. The commander closed his log with a single line: "If this is what they do under a storm, imagine what they could do if the galaxy truly tests them." For the first time, the Galactic Council's fear was not abstract. It was personal. Earth's apex predator was no longer unconfirmed. It had revealed itself in plain sight, calm, working, surviving, and thriving in a world meant to kill everything that dared exist there. The aliens had studied humans for several cycles now, observing their every move, every decision, every reaction to danger. And yet, there was something that still puzzled them. Storms, predators, harsh lands, these were understandable threats. But humans had survived wars, diseases, and disasters that no other species could endure. They had endured floods that drowned entire cities, fires that consumed forests, plagues that killed millions, and yet they persisted. Not because of superior claws or teeth, but because of something deeper, something the aliens could not measure with any instrument: resilience. Commander Rethka called a council among his observers. "They survive because they do not quit," he said, pacing slowly across the observation deck. "Every failure teaches them. Every loss strengthens them. A human falling is not a human defeated." One of the cadets, still shaky from the last storm, whispered, "But how? Their bodies are so weak. They can be injured so easily." The commander stopped, looked at him, and replied, "That is precisely the point. Earth does not select the strongest body. It selects the strongest mind, the strongest will, and the species with the courage to keep going when everything says they cannot." The aliens then turned to historical data. They scrolled through centuries of human records. Wars that should have wiped out entire civilizations. Conflicts with technology far beyond their own. Catastrophes that annihilated millions at once. Every time humans adapted. They rebuilt. They innovated. They learned. No other species in the galaxy showed such consistency in turning near destruction into survival, and survival into growth. One young alien observer asked quietly, "Do they even fear death?" Commander Rethka's multiple eyes narrowed. "They do," he said. "But fear does not stop them. Fear teaches them. They respect danger, but they do not let it decide their fate. Other species die, retreat, or hide. Humans act, always act, even when the odds are against them." The aliens began to understand a crucial difference. On Earth, survival was not random. It was a process. Every child learned the lessons of the past. Every adult passed on experience. The species remembered collectively. Mistakes were not wasted. Failures were not forgotten. Knowledge was shared and improved upon. Unlike any other species the aliens had encountered, humans created systems to overcome their own weaknesses. The observers watched humans in small groups, seemingly ordinary lives at first glance. But each action had purpose. A human child learning to swim was not just playing, they were learning survival. A human working in a dangerous factory was not merely earning, they were testing limits. A human farmer planting crops in harsh soil was not only growing food, they were mastering the land. Every activity, no matter how mundane it seemed, carried a lesson, a preparation for challenges the aliens could barely imagine. Commander Rethka reflected on the implications. "They are not merely a species," he said. "They are a process. Earth shapes them and they shape themselves in return. That is why the galaxy fears them." The cadets murmured among themselves. "But they are so human," one said. "So ordinary." Rethka's voice lowered, almost a warning. "Do not mistake ordinary for weak. Ordinary humans, under pressure, become extraordinary predators. Their greatest weapon is their ability to endure, to learn, and to act when others fail." The alien historians debated among themselves. They compared humans to apex predators on other planets, creatures with massive strength, speed, or weaponized features. Yet none had survived repeated planetary catastrophes while continually advancing as a species. None had adapted without losing their culture, their intelligence, or their cohesion. Humans did. The lesson was clear. Power did not come from size or claws. Power came from resilience, intelligence, and unity. At night, the observers watched humans gather around small fires. They shared stories of past failures and victories. They laughed at their mistakes. They mourned their losses. Every moment of joy, sorrow, and celebration carried knowledge. They were teaching the young to understand danger, to respect life, and to act boldly when required. The aliens realized this was far more dangerous than any weapon. A species that could learn faster than it could be destroyed was unstoppable. Commander Rethka recorded in the Galactic Archive, "Earth's apex predator is not a creature born to kill. It is a species born to survive, to endure, and to learn. The galaxy may fear monsters, storms, and wars, but humans fear nothing more than stagnation. They are dangerous not because they seek conflict, but because they cannot be stopped once they choose a path. No force can rewrite their experience. No predator can outlast their memory. No disaster can erase their will." As the observation ship left orbit that night, the commander looked down at Earth one last time. Lights glimmered across the continents, storms still raged in distant lands, oceans still churned violently. Yet the humans below moved with purpose, with calm, and with certainty. They had survived what should have destroyed them. They had adapted where others would perish. And in that moment, the aliens knew a truth that would haunt the galaxy for cycles to come. Earth's apex predator was not the largest, fastest, or deadliest creature. They were humans themselves, quiet, ordinary, and unstoppable. And somewhere deep in the Galactic Council's data banks, a single line was added to the archives. "Do not underestimate Earth. Do not test humans. Respect their history, for it has forged the galaxy's most unpredictable predator." The calm that the aliens had grown used to did not last long. One morning, while scanning the outskirts of a human settlement, their instruments detected a sudden, violent disturbance. A massive predator, larger than any previously recorded, had entered the area. Its claws dug deep into the ground, tearing apart trees and rocks as it hunted. The aliens tensed. Normally this would signal panic, chaos, and retreat for any intelligent species. Not for humans. The observers watched closely as humans appeared in the open. Some ran toward the predator with tools and improvised weapons. Others guided children and the weak to safety. No one screamed. No one hesitated. They moved as one. Even from a distance, the aliens could sense the determination emanating from these beings. It was not reckless bravery. It was precise, measured, unstoppable. The predator attacked swiftly, faster than the human eye could follow. It ripped through barriers and structures, but the humans adapted instantly. One group distracted the beast, drawing it away from civilians, while another group set traps. A log swung from a tree, striking the creature and forcing it to stumble. The aliens could not hide their astonishment. These humans, small and seemingly fragile, were controlling the actions of a creature far larger and stronger than themselves. Commander Rethka leaned forward. "They are not fighting," he whispered. "They are controlling the battlefield. They are predicting the predator's moves." The cadets watched, amazed, as humans used simple tools and natural objects to redirect the creature. They didn't rely on raw strength. They relied on intelligence, coordination, and instinct combined with learned knowledge. Every step was calculated. Every move had a purpose. The predator lunged at a group of humans, but they were ready. A human leapt from a hidden position, striking the beast in a vulnerable spot. Others flanked from the sides. Within moments, the creature was trapped, unable to escape the combined tactics. No humans were seriously injured. It was almost as if the predator itself had been outsmarted, not overpowered. The aliens whispered among themselves. "This is impossible," one said. "They should be dead." Another added, "They are not just surviving. They are dominating." The commander's voice was steady but carried an edge of warning. "Do not mistake this for luck. This is ability honed through centuries of survival, through experience, through thought and choice." The humans did not celebrate. They did not boast. They simply secured the area, ensured no one was hurt, and moved on to repair what had been damaged. The predator, confused and subdued, eventually retreated. The humans did not pursue it aggressively. They did not need to. The demonstration of control was enough. They had set the rules. They had shown dominance without unnecessary violence. One alien cadet, still in disbelief, asked, "Commander, what makes them so dangerous?" Commander Rethka paused. "It is not just their reaction to the predator," he said. "It is their choice. They can be calm, kind, cooperative, and yet in the face of danger they become precise, relentless, and deadly. They do not act on instinct alone. They act with purpose. And purpose cannot be stopped by force alone." As the day passed, the aliens watched more. Humans repaired homes and shelters. They cared for the injured predator from a safe distance, ensuring it could survive without threatening others again. They fed children, they treated wounds, and they planned the next steps. Even in anger or conflict, their actions were controlled, intelligent, and efficient. Night fell, and the observation team reviewed the data. Every metric indicated that humans should have failed. The predator alone could have destroyed the settlement. But humans adapted faster than predicted, anticipated the creature's moves, and protected all life under their care. Their power was not in their size or their weapons. It was in their mind, their learning, and their will. The commander recorded his observations carefully. The galaxy fears raw strength. It fears weapons, armies, and predators. It does not fear calculation, adaptation, and courage. Humans possess all three in ways we cannot easily counter. They do not rage blindly. They act deliberately. Their anger, if ever directed, is controlled, strategic, and unstoppable. The galaxy must understand, humans are not ordinary. They are predators not of teeth but of thought, endurance, and precision. Even the alien cadets, young and inexperienced, were silent as they realized the truth. These creatures, small and seemingly fragile, could survive disasters, predators, and chaos not because of natural advantage, but because they mastered themselves. Every instinct had been trained. Every fear had been harnessed. Every emotion had a purpose. The night ended with humans gathering around fires, tending to each other, and quietly preparing for the next day. The aliens observed from the shadows. They had expected chaos, destruction, fear, and death. Instead, they saw life controlled, coordinated, and purposeful. They saw a species that could transform calmness into deadly precision, weakness into resilience, and survival into dominance. Commander Rethka sent his final note to the Council before resting. "If the galaxy believes it understands strength, it is wrong. Humans do not rely on weapons, size, or aggression alone. They rely on their will, intelligence, and unity. They do not fight recklessly, yet nothing can withstand them once they decide to act. The apex predator of Earth is not a creature, it is human." In that moment, as the observation ship drifted silently above Earth, the aliens knew that everything they had feared about this planet was an understatement. Humans could remain calm in disaster, focused in danger, and deadly in conflict, all at the same time. And the galaxy, for all its wars, technology, and armies, would never be ready for the full force of a species that had mastered survival, intelligence, and controlled fury. The Galactic Council convened once more, this time in full emergency session. Reports had been streaming in from the observation ships. Images, data, and recordings had convinced even the most skeptical council members that Earth and its inhabitants were unlike anything previously encountered. The council chamber was alive with whispers, murmurs, and uneasy glances. No species had ever commanded such attention. No planet had ever caused this much fear. Commander Rethka presented his findings. Every detail of the humans' survival, adaptation, and cooperation was laid bare. He spoke of storms survived, predators subdued, and threats turned into lessons. He explained how humans did not fight recklessly, but acted with precision, intelligence, and unity. The council listened in stunned silence. Words like adaptation, resilience, and controlled fury echoed in the halls. Every member knew that the humans were not simply strong. They were dangerous in a way that no one could oppose directly. A young alien delegate, known for her sharp wit, finally spoke. "Are we saying," she asked carefully, "that this species with no natural weapons, no massive armies, no technology equal to ours, is somehow superior in survival?" Commander Rethka nodded solemnly. "Yes," he said. "They do not rely on what the galaxy fears. They rely on what the galaxy cannot measure. Their minds, their will, and their unity make them unstoppable when they choose to act." Some members laughed nervously. "This is absurd," one said. "Surely no species could dominate a planet without overwhelming force." Another shook his head. "They may survive small threats, but they cannot survive a full-scale attack from a coordinated fleet." Commander Rethka allowed a faint smile. "Perhaps," he said. "But humans do not need to. They survive every attack, every disaster, every predator by learning faster than it can destroy them. And when their survival is threatened, they respond in ways the galaxy is not ready to face." The council debated for hours, arguing over terminology, over classifications, and over whether Earth should be considered a death world or a protected planet. Finally, the oldest member, a being with translucent skin and centuries of wisdom, spoke. "We have feared monsters," he said, "storms, beasts, and war machines. We have feared strength. Yet the true apex predator is a species that survives against all odds, that learns, adapts, and acts deliberately. That species is human." Silence fell over the chamber. The weight of those words sank in. The galaxy, for all its technology and power, had underestimated humans. Every war they had survived, every disaster they had overcome, every predator they had subdued, these were not accidents. Humans had endured because of their intelligence, cooperation, and indomitable will. They were alive not by luck, but by mastery of themselves and their environment. A map of the galaxy was displayed, highlighting every region where humans had interacted, fought, or survived. The council realized how few species had ever truly tested them. Humans had adapted to every challenge the universe had presented. Even now, in a small settlement on a chaotic, dangerous planet, humans demonstrated the combination of calm, intelligence, and deadly efficiency that no other species could match. "Records must be updated," Commander Rethka said firmly. "Earth can no longer be treated like any other planet. Humans are no longer merely a species. They are a standard by which survival, adaptation, and intelligence must be measured." He paused. "And the galaxy must respect that standard whether we understand it fully or not." For the first time in council history, a motion passed almost unanimously. Humans would no longer be considered simply a species to observe or a threat to monitor. They were to be recognized as an adaptive apex species, capable of surviving any natural, environmental, or artificial challenge. Any future engagement with humans must be approached with caution, respect, and preparation. Outside the council chamber, the observers returned to their ships, their minds racing. The humans below had no idea that the galaxy had just admitted its fear and respect. They went about their lives, building, laughing, helping one another, and planning for the next day. And yet, their actions were now recorded in the highest archives, their methods studied, and their resilience acknowledged. Commander Rethka sent a final report, a simple but powerful statement. The galaxy feared Earth's apex predator. Now we know the predator is human. Recognize them. Respect them. And never underestimate them. As night fell across the planet, lights twinkled in cities and villages. Fires burned in remote settlements. Rivers flowed. Winds blew. Predators prowled. And yet humans moved among all of this with calm, purpose, and certainty. They repaired, they learned, they adapted. They thrived. They survived. And the galaxy finally understood that fear was only the beginning of respect. Somewhere deep in the data archives of the Galactic Council, a single line was etched for all species to see: do not provoke humans. Do not challenge them. Stand beside them if you wish to survive. And so, the galaxy turned a new page. Humanity had revealed its true nature. They were no longer underestimated. They were no longer merely observed. Humans had claimed their place as the most adaptable, resilient, and respected species in the universe. The council members left in awe, knowing that the universe itself had changed. Not because humans conquered with force, but because humans conquered by endurance, intelligence, and unity. They were calm, calculated, and unstoppable when needed. And the galaxy at last had no choice but to acknowledge it. The Galactic Council had been monitoring the reports from Commander Rethka for cycles now. At first, many dismissed them. They had grown used to exaggerations about distant planets, death worlds, apex predators, natural disasters. They believed their records were sufficient. But as each report arrived, detailing the humans' calm intelligence and unmatched adaptability, the disbelief began to fade. The counselors gathered in a massive chamber, their attention fixed on the holoscreen showing the humans in action. The images were clear. Humans walking into storms without hesitation. Humans confronting massive predators and surviving. Humans collaborating in dangerous terrain. Nothing on any other planet matched their precision, courage, or efficiency. The counselors whispered among themselves. Some lowered their heads, others shook in silent fear. They had underestimated this species for centuries, and now the truth was undeniable. One of the oldest counselors, a being whose scales had turned silver with age, spoke slowly. We feared monsters, storms, and the planet itself. We did not fear the humans. That was our mistake. The apex predator was never the land or its beasts. It has always been them. The chamber fell silent. No one interrupted. Even the youngest cadets realized the gravity of the statement. The humans were not just survivors. They were a force shaped by hardship, forged by history, and sharpened by experience. Every challenge they had faced on Earth had taught them, every failure had improved them, and every loss had strengthened them. The Council realized something terrifying and extraordinary: humans did not need the galaxy to fight for them. They had already learned to survive anything. They had mastered themselves. Commander Rethka's report concluded with a warning. Do not provoke them, he said. Do not test them. Stand with them or step aside. Earth has created a species the galaxy cannot control, cannot predict, and cannot defeat. They are calm in the storm, precise in conflict, and relentless when necessary. The galaxy must respect this or suffer the consequences. The counselors debated late into the cycle. Some argued that humans could be allies. Some feared them as a threat. Some wanted to isolate Earth forever. But every scenario concluded the same way: humans could not be contained, underestimated, or ignored. They were beyond the usual categories of power the galaxy had learned to respect. A younger counselor asked nervously, if humans are so dangerous, how do we interact with them without risk? The oldest counselor looked at the questioner with eyes that had seen countless wars and conflicts. By recognizing them for what they are, he said. By respecting their history, their strength, and their mind. Do not interfere. Do not underestimate. Stand beside them if you can, and never, ever try to control them. The images on the holoscreen shifted to humans helping one another after natural disasters. Humans caring for injured predators, repairing structures, and teaching the young. They laughed, argued, and celebrated quietly in the glow of their fires. No display of unnecessary violence. No chaos beyond what was necessary. Yet through every simple action, the humans showed something the galaxy had never seen. A species that thrived on its own terms, indifferent to fear, relentless in survival, and capable of unity in the face of danger. Commander Rethka watched these images from his ship in orbit. He had predicted fear, chaos, and failure. Instead, he saw life itself being commanded with intelligence and purpose. Even his experienced crew could not stop marveling at the humans' abilities. They had trained their instincts, sharpened their mind, and mastered collaboration in ways no species he had known could. Finally, the Council reached consensus. Humans would no longer be classified merely as a species. They would be recorded in the galactic archives as an apex species, a new benchmark for survival and strategy. Their planet, Earth, was no longer merely dangerous. It was sacred in the records, recognized as the birthplace of a species capable of surviving the impossible and thriving against all odds. Messages were sent to outposts across the galaxy. Researchers, explorers, and military leaders were warned. Humans were not to be challenged lightly. Observation was encouraged. Cooperation was recommended. Respect was mandatory. Those who had doubted or mocked Earth's inhabitants were cautioned that ignorance could be fatal. Back on Earth, of course, the humans remained unaware. They continued their lives as always. They laughed by fires, repaired what needed fixing, hunted and gathered, played and taught their young. They did not know they had just changed the perception of an entire galaxy. To them, survival was routine. Their unity and courage, their endurance and intellect, were simply the way life worked. Commander Rethka concluded his personal notes with one final statement. The galaxy feared Earth's apex predator. We have finally seen it. It is human. Ordinary yet extraordinary. Small in body, vast in mind. Gentle in peace, unstoppable in necessity. The galaxy may tremble now, but they will learn. This species cannot be ignored. And so, the records of Earth were updated. From that moment onward, every species entering the archives would read, "Do not underestimate humans. Respect their history, honor their ability, and observe with caution. Earth has bred a predator the galaxy cannot comprehend, and nothing on this planet or beyond will rival their will." The council adjourned, leaving the holoscreen showing humans moving through their world, calm in the storm, precise in action, and unstoppable by any natural force. For the first time, the galaxy understood. Earth was not just a planet. Humans were not just survivors. They were the apex predator, and they had only begun to reveal their full strength. Years passed after the Council had officially recognized humans as the galaxy's apex predator. Reports continued to pour in from explorers, scientists, and military teams who had observed Earth from orbit, from distant planets, and through countless missions. Everywhere the same pattern emerged. Humans survived, adapted, and thrived in situations where other species failed. The galaxy slowly understood a truth that had been hidden behind legends and fear. Humans were not defined by strength alone, nor by weapons, nor by numbers. They were defined by their will, their mind, and their unity. In the Galactic Archives, Commander Rethka submitted his final report. The entry was long, detailed, and precise, but its conclusion was simple: do not test humans. Do not underestimate humans. Respect their ability to endure, to learn, and to act with purpose. They are calm in chaos, precise in conflict, and unstoppable when required. They are the apex predator, not of claw or fang, but of intelligence, courage, and will. Across the galaxy, the message spread. Species who had once dismissed Earth now paused at the mention of it. Explorers approached cautiously. Traders considered carefully. Diplomats reviewed history with newfound respect. Humans were no longer a distant curiosity or a potential threat. They were a benchmark. The standards of strategy, survival, and endurance had been reset, and the galaxy had no choice but to acknowledge it. Yet, on Earth, humans lived as they always had. They did not know that an entire galaxy watched their every move. They laughed, argued, built, created, and played. They fought natural disasters, survived predators, and explored their own world with curiosity and courage. Every challenge was met with thought, teamwork, and endurance. They never sought fame or recognition. They acted because that was what life required. One human child climbed a rocky hill, looking toward the horizon. A predator howled in the distance, but the child did not flinch. Nearby, elders guided the young, teaching, protecting, and encouraging. The lessons of the past had become instinct, the fears of yesterday had become knowledge, and the strength of the species had become legendary without anyone declaring it. Commander Rethka reflected on this as he reviewed his observation logs from orbit. He remembered the first time he had seen humans under the storm, under the predator, under impossible conditions. They had survived where every prediction had said they would fail. They had adapted where every force of nature had tried to destroy them. They had acted with purpose, intelligence, and unity. And in that moment he realized that humans were not merely a species. They were a force of nature, a living testament to resilience and ingenuity. The Galactic Council updated the final entry in the archives. Earth, it stated, is no longer merely a planet. It is the cradle of the most unpredictable and adaptive predator the galaxy has ever encountered. Humans are to be observed, respected, and never underestimated. No species, no army, no disaster can rival their will and intelligence. They are the standard by which survival is measured, and their story is only beginning. From that moment on, every explorer who approached Earth, every diplomat who studied human behavior, every species that considered war or alliance knew one immutable truth: humans could not be predicted, controlled, or defeated by simple strength. They acted calmly in the storm, they responded deliberately in danger, and they endured and learned faster than any threat could eliminate them. Back on Earth, the humans were unaware of the legend they had become. They continued their lives with curiosity, courage, and cooperation. They helped one another, solved problems, and explored challenges. To them, surviving was ordinary. To the galaxy, it was extraordinary. The apex predator of Earth was not a single individual, not a weapon, not a beast. It was the species itself, each human contributing to a force that no other species could rival. The final note in the Galactic Archives captured the essence. Do not hunt humans. Do not test humans. Stand beside them, respect them, or step aside. The history of Earth has forged a predator unlike any the galaxy has ever known. Observe their lives. Learn from their endurance. And remember, humans are patient, calculated, and unstoppable when necessary. The apex predator walks among them in every mind, in every act, in every heart. And as the stars shone above Earth that night, humans slept, unaware of the respect, fear, and awe that spanned the galaxy. Their lives were simple, their challenges real, and their hearts strong. Yet in their ordinary existence lay the extraordinary, a species that could survive anything, adapt to everything, and if the time ever came, shape the fate of the galaxy itself. The galaxy had feared Earth's apex predator. And in the end, it learned the truth. The predator was not a beast, not a weapon, not even a war machine. The predator was human. Ordinary yet extraordinary. Calm yet unstoppable. Small yet infinite in potential. And the legend of their survival, courage, and intelligence would echo across the stars for cycles to come.